AI is taking over, but if you're an INFJ, you might be the exception. In a world racing toward automation, INFJs, with their introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging traits, possess gifts that remain distinctively human. While AI can analyze data and even mimic friendliness, INFJs tap into depths that robots simply cannot reach. Let's unpack the top 3 INFJ superpowers: deep empathy, intuitive pattern sensing, and moral vision. We'll explore why each of these defies replacement by silicon, drawing on psychology and neuroscience to understand why your INFJ heart and mind remain irreplaceable. INFJs are renowned for their deep empathy and people radar, possessing a unique ability to recognize others' emotions and see helping as their mission. Science confirms human empathy involves complex brain networks like the insula and cingulate, allowing us to genuinely feel others' emotions, not just process words. Robots can simulate caring words or facial expressions, but they lack any true inner experience of emotion. Humanoid robots can be programmed to understand and react to human emotions, simulating empathetic responses, yet they are not endowed with the same innate capacity for empathy as humans. An INFJ's caring response stems from a felt connection, whereas AI's response is pre-programmed mimicry. When a friend is upset, an INFJ instinctively listens, reflects feelings, and responds with genuine warmth, activating broad networks of emotion and self-reflection. AI might echo comforting words it learned from text, but it cannot truly share in the emotion or motivation behind them. Mentors note that AI lacks subjective experience, emotions, and genuine concern for others' well-being. An INFJ's authentic hug or empathetic silence cannot be coded into machine logic. Imagine explaining a heartbreak to an INFJ friend. They'll likely say, "I'm here with you. I feel how hard this must be and genuinely understand." An AI chatbot might say, "I understand you're sad and I'm sorry," but the INFJ feels the difference. The INFJ response is guided by extrovert feeling and innate drive to care, whereas the AI's is a text pattern. Key takeaway: INFJs experience and understand emotions on a personal level. AI can copy emotions and data, but it cannot truly feel compassion or intuition. An INFJ's mind is a pattern-detecting machine, but a deeply human one, dominated by introverted intuition. INFJs subconsciously sift through life experiences to spot hidden connections and future possibilities. They might sense what others miss, subtle body language, repeated life themes, or emerging trends in a problem. In other words, INFJs are constantly drawing abstract links that others overlook. AI, by contrast, certainly loves patterns. Modern AI, or deep learning, is built on massive pattern recognition in data. Researchers note that AI can effectively detect patterns in data and even discover new mathematical relationships. So, in one sense, AI is a very powerful pattern machine, but there's a catch. Human intuition isn't just any pattern finding. INFJs use their entire life context, gut feelings, values, and subtle vibes to make leaps. Brains are pattern recognition machines, and with sufficient experience, we begin to recognize increasingly complex patterns, separating experts from novices. INFJs, through years of introspection and empathy, become those experts in understanding people and meaning. The difference lies in depth and creativity. A robot might identify a statistical correlation, but an INFJ picks up the story behind it. AI can say pattern detected, X, but it doesn't generate new meaning from it the way an INFJ does. When mathematicians combine AI with human insight, studies show it's human intuition that guides the breakthroughs. AI can highlight a pattern, but an INFJ can dream up a novel idea based on what the pattern means to people's lives. Suppose you describe a confusing life dilemma to an INFJ. They might suddenly say, "You keep drawing the number 7 when you're in love. Maybe you need to step back and see why that keeps happening." Ask a robot with the same data, and it would reply literally or not at all. Key takeaway: INFJs detect patterns with intuition and life experience. AI can crunch data patterns, but it can't match the human leaps that come from an INFJ's insight. INFJs carry a moral compass as part of their core, often guided by deep values and a sense of purpose. Psychology describes INFJs as deeply guided by their personal values and passionate about issues of ethics, striving to right the wrongs of the world. This moral drive is profoundly human, rooted in empathy, conscience, and sometimes even spiritual intuition. Robots and AI, however, have no real conscience. Academics point out that AI lacks a unique moral code as it remains a machine. A chatbot might recite ethical principles, but it doesn't believe them or feel responsible. For an INFJ, making a decision always involves asking what feels right or how will this affect people's souls. An algorithm just processes probabilities or programmed rules. In tricky situations, an INFJ might agonize over the human impact, and AI will simply optimize for some objective. Neuroscience hints that our brains have areas linked to ethical reasoning and empathy, while robots have silicon chips and code. No matter how smart, AI cannot feel responsibility, justify its actions, or be held morally accountable. INFJs, on the other hand, internalize responsibility, feeling others' pain as their own and fighting injustice. This isn't just knowledge, it's a lived moral stance. Imagine witnessing someone being bullied. An INFJ doesn't just think, I should not harm others. They feel the sadness and courage to help. If you asked an AI, is bullying wrong? It would say yes, of course, but it won't volunteer to intervene or suffer guilt if it can't. It has no soul to hurt. INFJs, however, carry that hurt in themselves and often act. Key takeaway: INFJs live by their values and empathy. AI can simulate ethical language, but it has no inner sense of right and wrong. In each of these realms, empathy, intuition, and morality, INFJs shine in ways machines simply can't. Neuroscience and psychology emphasize how deeply human these abilities are. While AI will keep advancing, an INFJ's heartfelt understanding, nuanced insight, and moral passion are our special gifts. As an INFJ watching this, remember the incredible strengths you carry. These aren't just personality fluff, they're your brain and heart wiring in action. Even if a robot can organize your calendar or draft an email, no algorithm can replicate the warmth of your care or the vision of your intuition. Celebrate that uniqueness. Embrace your gifts. They're the very things that make you irreplaceably human.